So, good evening, students. Welcome to this virtual classes organized by the Board of Studies. A great evening to all of you, and we are taking the class on beginning of a new financial year. So, happy new financial year, and let us start with the subject directly. So, good evening, students. Welcome to this virtual classes organized by the Board of Studies. You put. So, please put as many questions as you can. I'll try to answer all of them during the session itself. The more you ask, the more you learn. So, we'll keep this theme on. You ask as many questions as possible. I've got a separate screen to show me all your questions. So, interrupt me in between the session itself. Put your questions. If you find a term that is not very clear, that is technically tough, ask me to explain again on the question book, the question screen. It's visible to me. So let us start the session on enterprise information system. Now, I always love to share it this way, that most of you think that the subject is theory, but there's nothing that is theory in the subject. So because we are starting this session, I want that all of us have a target of scoring examination. So we want not less than 80% from all of you in these subjects, and that shall be the theme, that shall be the way we are going to talk about the subject. So it's absolutely practical. All things I'll tell you that you do it day in, day out. So nothing theory in this whole subject itself. Okay, let us go ahead. These are standard disclaimers, disclosures. I've already shared. Please ask the questions during the session. And the subject is absolutely practical. So let us continue. Now, so this is the whole syllabus. You have 5 chapters: automated business process, financial and accounting system, information system and its component, e-commerce, m-commerce and emerging technologies, and chapter 5 that is on core banking system. So all these chapters are interlinked. They are linked to each other. A topic in one chapter relates to something in other chapter. So I'll try to ensure that you learn those links in the module also. Those references have been created. So kindly understand that what you are reading is the whole subject along that has these 5 chapters. So they are linked together. There are number of topics which are relevant to one chapter and has an application in the other chapter. So please keep yourself up on this. Kindly learn it as good as possible. We have one question from Aditya. Okay, Aditya, thanks for the question. This slight update in the module, I'll let you know. The latest module is available on the Institute's Board of Studies Knowledge Portal. So from the previous attempt to this attempt, what are the updates? I'll surely mark them out. I myself mark them separately. So when I discuss, I'll surely let them know. In today's topic, what we'll do at the start of the session also, I'll share that whatever we are going to talk today, there's slight updates. Some points have been added. I'll share them separately. I'll mark them for you separately. But a good question. Thank you. So let us start with chapter 1, that is automated business. Now, what this chapter is about. So we'll be talking about, these are the headings: enterprise information, business process automation, business processes, automated processes, risk and its management, enterprise risk management controls, then diagrammatic representation that we all understand as flowcharts, risk and controls for specific business processes, and regulatory and compliance requirement. First change that has been done in this module is here what you are looking at. The topic number 5, that is enterprise risk management, and topic number 6, controls. In the previous module, controls was coming prior to risk management. So in fact, this has been properly arranged that control is a way of managing risk. So now control has been brought slightly down, like in cricket you say have, it has been brought to a next batting order level. So first you have risk management, then you talk about control. So we'll be talking of all these topics in detail. Let us start the first part. Now, what is we are going to learn about? See, the whole chapter, business process automation is what? So let us try to understand the whole idea that whatever things, whatever processes which are being done manually are now going to be done in an automated manner. I've just taken two examples. What we mean by automated manner? Automated is basically where the system informs the user that this is an issue. You have to take an action. User gets an intimation from the system itself. I'm taking two examples and then we'll link this example to the definition in the first line of this slide, the concept of integrated and non-integrated system. Now, when I say integrated systems are where a system's parts are interlinked to one another. What is a system? System is a working environment. System is a set of activities which you do to achieve a common goal, a common purpose. Like just as an example, these virtual classes are also system, and we all have a common goal of getting at least 80% in examination. Please understand, you will not hear from me passing in exam, absolutely never. You will only hear me getting 80% in exam in this subject we are talking about. So that is the whole purpose. So this whole is a system, and this system has various components. So you are the most important component. The syllabus is a component. Me as a faculty is a component. Technology is also a component. So these all are working together for the goal that we want to achieve. Now, when I say what is integrated and what is non-integrated. So when I say system, when I say integrated, I mean that all these components of my system work together. They are joined together. They work together. An action by one system is one component is automatically triggered to the next component. That is how you call it integrated systems, where one component is joined to the other component. Let us take this example. With your vehicle suddenly stops and the fuel is finished. The purchase manager gets an email SMS from system informing that an important raw material items inventory level has touched a reorder level. We all know reorder level. Okay, so I'll be asking questions. I'll expect you to put the answer in chat box in the query and answer session. So I'll request you to define the reorder level. I'll read and then as I get time, I'll share who has given the best answers. So we all know what is a reorder level. Now, suppose I say A is vehicle stops as fuel is finished. B, the purchase manager, he or she gets an intimation about an item's level hitting a reorder level. I want you to answer this question. I want you to say which of the two is integrated. So A is vehicle, B is purchase manager. So you will say A or B. The question you are answering is which is an integrated system. Which system is integrated? So I'll just read it from the chat that you give me answers. Now, we all understand that integrated and non-integrated system. So what is an integrated system? Where the components of the systems are interlinked to each other. They work in a component's action is triggers the other component. So that is where they are working together. That is, in our example, B is an integrated system. Why this concept is so important at the start of the session? Because, see, whenever I talk of business process automation, now I'm asking another question. So I'll be asking many questions. So you need to keep yourself on with that. So when I say business process automation, one of the key components, necessities to have a business process automation is to basically integrate my systems. My systems must work together. They must work in a cohesive manner. All components need to be joined so that one system's or component's action is triggers another system, another component. That is integration. And this integration becomes a necessity to create a business process automation system. One of you have asked a question that how do I get the presentation? I think this is will be provided by the board of studies to me. It is already made available. Okay. So many of you have answered. B is the integrated system. Thanks for this. Example 2 is integrated. Great. So keep this link. And one of you have asked a very important question, whether I'll be able to prepare this subject before May 2021. So my answer is yes. And you need to get 80%. So please don't target anything below 80%. We all want 80% in exam. That is for dead sure. Okay. And it is practical. See, please understand, every single line I'll be talking about is practical. This subject is not at all theory. That is my idea. Okay. So that is integrated versus non-integrated. Why we need to understand that this word at the start, because when I say business process automation, what is a key component of business process automation? Key necessity that we integrate the various components of a system. We allow them to work together. One component triggers action in the another component. That is how you create a business process automation. Let us go ahead. So that was giving you the idea. Now, the chapter plan, then summary of the chapter, the content. I will have MCQs during this. And then at the end of the session, we'll have a fast recap. Great. Now, this is from the module itself. So, enterprise business processes, the categories of the business process automation, how you go about it, risk management and controls. We'll be talking in much detail. Huge discussion on specific business processes, flowcharts, and compliance requirement, regulatory and requirement of by law. So we have one answer from Sakshi. Reorder level is level at which fresh order should be placed to replenishment of stock goods. So that is one answer we got. Then another is by Jyoti. Reorder level is the level at which inventory is minimum and we need to place. No. So see, reorder is a level. Okay, let me ask another question. See, I call this subject as king of all subjects. Whatever you have read in accounting, income tax, GST, all are going to be merged in this subject. I'll tell you, this is the king of all these subjects. Okay. So taking that cue from what Jyoti said, she used in the definition of reorder level, she used the word minimum level. So there are 3 levels: maximum level, reorder level, and minimum level. So you need to tell me of the 3, which quantity is highest and which quantity is lowest. So minimum cannot be used as a part of reorder level definition. Okay. So you'll have to tell me maximum, reorder level, minimum, which has highest value and which has lowest. Yes. So Vishal has made a good point that those who have joined from YouTube are requested to log in and then be part of this interactive session. Great, Vishal. Okay. So now this is the whole chapter plan. So categories of system, automation, risk management controls, specific business process, flowcharts, regulatory compliance requirement. We'll be having good discussion on each of this. The time is slightly less, so we'll keep it very, very much focused. And that is why I request you to put as many questions during the session as you can. Okay. Maximum is, yes, maximum level is highest and minimum is lowest. That is Vaishnavi. Maximum is the highest level, Ramakrishna. Yes, Sri Ram has also given it correctly. Then, learning objectives, build an understanding on the concept of the business process, its automation, the flow, relationship, internal between automated systems, controls, the risks to business, the controls to that, how you grasp the understanding of flow of business processing, let me complete and I'll come back on this slide. Very important learning objectives. Comprehend the regulatory requirements. Now see the key word. If you read all these five together, see, understand there are a common element to this whole learning objective, that is business process, flow, and controls. Please understand. So this whole idea about business process, how it flows, and then you need to have proper controls built into it. That is business process flow, and that is when you create this, you are going to create a automated mechanism within your business. Very, very, very important. So, Jyoti, yes, reorder is more than minimum and maximum is more than reorder. So, reorder is middle in between. Yes. Now, this you all know, means there's nothing that I can teach this. Information is flowing fast. The faster you get information, the better decision you take. And in this competitive world, the person, the business owner, the entrepreneur, the decision maker, the faster she takes decision, the success depends on that. And to be able to take fast decisions, you require information. So that is why this age you call as the age of information revolution. And that is why the name of the subject is enterprise information system. Please always look why anything is there if it exists like this. So the solution to this problem is provided by EIS by collecting data from numerous crucial business processes and creating it through a processing hub, a central data processing location, and presenting it in form of information to the decision maker. So what is needed? Information. Okay, so again, I'll be asking questions and questions. So system has three components: input, process, and output. So if I say information, by the intent definition, what is information to system, whether it is input, process, output, in what we are talking about. In our subject, information is input or process or output. Any system has basically three components: input, process, and output. Information for our discussion is what? Whether it is input, process, or output. And Vishal has given a good equation to the maximum reorder and minimum levels. Okay, so next question is whether information is input, process, or output. You can always say I, P, and O. Okay, let us go ahead. So what we require? We require information for decision making from multiple locations. Then an information system may be defined as any kind of an enterprise information system is any kind of information system which improves the functions of an enterprise business process by integration. Now see, the word integration has been built in the definition, and that is why we started with the word integration. So Kiran Kumar says input. Okay, so let us have more answers. All. Sriram chooses the best option, all. And Vasudha says it correctly, and Nandishwaran says it correctly. So it's output. So if information is output, the next question, I'll not let you go away from all this. Next question you are answering is information is output. What is input? Okay, let us go ahead. Information is output. That is correct. So what is input to that? Let us go ahead. So what is EIS? In enterprise information system is any information system which improves the functions of enterprise business process by integration, bringing all the components together and generating information. So that is our output. And information is going to be used by whom? The decision maker, the top management, the decision maker, the entrepreneur, the business owner. That is so important. EIS provide a technology platform that enables organizations to integrate and coordinate their business process on a robust foundation. A fast decision making is done through a information system. Okay, so I am seeking answer to my question. What is input? If information is output, what is input? Okay. So suppose I'm just being on your output, what is input? That is okay. Then next is enterprise business processes. Yes, so we have very good updates. Handvi Reddy data, Mansha data, Vasudha data, Amudhar data. Yeah, so it's data. So no need for question mark. It's data. Jyoti data, Ashutosh raw data, Radha raw data. Fantastic. So you all know. So you process data to create information, and where this data comes, information is made available to whom? The decision maker. Necessary output to take decisions. Then commands to system. Great. The business process is an activity. Sorry. Enterprise business process. Next heading. Now, what is a business process? A business process is an activity or set of activities that will accomplish a common goal. We had some outside noise, so I was just allowing it to pass by. Business processes are designed as per vision, mission of the management. Business processes are reflection of entities' management thought process. The success or failure of an organization is dependent on how meticulously business processes have been designed and implemented. Very important, how you plan your activities, how the activities have been scheduled, the steps, that is very, very critical for success of enterprise. Business process management helps an enterprise organization achieve what I call as 3E of business process: effectiveness, efficiency, and economy. Business process management is a systematic approach to improving these processes. It works on 24/7 basis. Please understand, whatever we do, whatever we deliver as a business owner, we need to ensure that we have this inbuilt mechanism to ensure that our performance improves day in, day out. It's very, very important. Business process, enterprise business process. So what is business process? The whole set of activities. How? What is the importance? They need to be meticulously planned, executed. What is the purpose? Purpose is to improve the efficiency, effectiveness, and economy of the business. This is very, very important. So, vision, operational process, management, support processes. So, when you talk of business process model, what you need to understand. So, let us take some example. One of the largest dairy producers, dairy product company in Asia, some 15 years, I'll be asking question, and based on this, you are going to answer me. Okay. So what you have three options: vision, management, operational process. So VMO. And I'll ask the question. I'll just read the slide and then I'll allow you to answer. So I'll asking this question. 15 years back, one of the Asia's largest dairy product company, then it decided that by 2020, 15 years back, its turnover was 10,000 crores. By 2020, they decided to have a turnover of 35,000 crores, a growth of 25,000 crores in 15 years. Phenomenal growth. So the management decided that 15 years back, that is 2005, our turnover is 10,000 crores. 2020, our turnover will be 35,000 crores. So you have to say this decision in this flowchart is a vision statement, a management process, or an operational process. So first question, the target turnover from 10,000 to 35,000 is vision, management, or operation. First question. So we have the first answer by Jyoti. Okay, let more people answer, then I'll repeat. Now, to execute that decision, to put that decision in place, the dairy product company decided that they are going to launch 10 new products. They are going to launch 10 new products. So you have to say this is vision, management, or operation. So first was turnover. Second was they decided to launch 10 new products. Third decision they took was they will enter into new markets. You have to say new markets. So whether new market is vision, management, or operation. And another decision they took that they are going to start dairies in each state of India. 15 years back, they had dairy only in 5 states. Today, they have dairies in 20 states. So they decided to start dairies in 20 states. Now, so three questions: turnover increase, new product launch, new market, and acquiring new dairies. Four, you have to say. So first was vision. So Jyoti said it correctly. First is vision. Great. Second, so Tushar has said management. So Tushar, I presume you have answered the first one, but second, that is we are going to start 10 new products. That is also basically vision. Then new markets, that is management, and start procuring new dairies is operationalizing. So this is how decision making is goes top down. That is very, very important. Yes. So, okay. So it's a discussion. It's a thought process that I want to bring to your mind. How? So see, to make it more easy, those things which are basically decided by top management, future oriented, growth oriented, they are part of vision. Those which are implementation strategies, you call as tactical strategies, tactical decisions, those are management, and day-to-day decisions are operation. So this is how things are going to work out. Thank you. So it comes. So the question I put is given here. So let us read. So I'll request all of you to read. I have already shared that. So one of the largest India conglomerates some 2 decades ago decided that in next 15 years, whatever we do will be in top 5 of that business across the world. So again, it's a vision statement. Yeah. So Vaishnavi, the slide we have the logic. So let us read those. What are visions and missions? So visions and missions are top management decisions which talk about the future of the company, the growth of the company. Those are vision and mission statement. The example I took and the example that is given in the slide. Then management process. So whatever decision I take, the implementation of the decision is basically management process. Like the example I took was new markets and new products. Here, what the company did in the slide, the group did all in next 15 years. What they did, they acquired a steel company in UK, EU. They acquired another steel company in Singapore, so that the total production capacity of these acquisition plus their own existing acquisition make them top 5. Then the group acquired tea gardens across the world so that they become top 5 tea seller in the world. So the implementation, the execution, the putting the management vision into action becomes the management process. Then support process. Support are all activities to be done as envisaged by the top management. A huge effort was needed on human resource front. This included defining, creating new management structure. Post the management process, it is an operational managers to implement the decisions in the working form. It is here where the whole hard job is done. So physical execution becomes part of the operational process that you also called as implementation, day-to-day activity that becomes part of the operations. So first question for the day. So you have to say A, B. I'll take. I know that you take some time. So, but I want Vision, okay. uh, it's a question by Meghna. So, Meghna, I'm answering your question by asking a question. Okay, so it's a good way of learning. So let me ask you the question and we'll get the answer to that. Which of the two is born first, vision or mission? You'll get the answer. By the time I ask Meghna the question, I'll request you to answer this MCQ. Meghna's question is difference between vision and mission. So I'm asking her a question. Which of the two is born first, vision or mission? That will answer your question. Great. So we have answered by Ramakrishnan and then uh, Nandishwaran, Mansha, okay, Bhargavi, Shirish, Radha. Great. So let us see the answer. Then I'll answer the question that I asked to Meghna. A is the correct answer. That is vision. Getting okay. Then I don't want to discuss this further, but then based on this discussion, what you can create, the management support and the operational process that the institute has been bringing up for ensuring that we become 100% EICI. In fact, I think now our institute is virtually EICI. There could be some percentage issue, but most of the processes are now electronic digital. And this COVID corona, we are already in second wave. So please save yourself, protect yourself. But then the digital learning hub and this online classes, I think you got this opportunity from the threat that COVID corona created. That has allowed us all to get together. So that has been, an institute has done phenomenal job. It's exceptional what our institute and the board of studies has been doing. It's a very hard job, and the people behind those managing these things, you don't know the tough thing they are handling. Okay. So the answer is vision and mission. Now, to the question that I put to Meghna, so vision is what that looks like. Categories of business. Yes, Nandishwaram, thank you. I try to pronounce your name to the best possible manner. If there's a gap in pronunciation, accept my apologies for that. Okay. Categories of business processes. Depending on the organization, industry, and nature of work, business process can be categorized in three broad frames. Vijeta, yeah, okay, I'm not, I'll just keep, this time you got vision first, yes. Vijeta had answered vision first. Okay, yes, it's there. Thank you. Vishal, then Pranav, Meghna, okay, yes, vision. Shubha, vision, yes. Vasudha, Radha, yes. I'm getting your answers. Thank you. Our, our discussion chat is already crossed the century mark. So I love this. Let us talk like this only. See, more you ask, more you learn. So let it be like interact, the more we learn. Okay, but please don't carry that. I have answered your question by Meghna in one of the best possible manners. See, vision is like our vision, my dream. And then whatever I do to achieve that dream, that vision is that becomes my mission. So I want to say, to achieve my vision, I go on a mission. So that is how I look to those words. Yes, Nandeshwaran. So online, yes, it's great. The only thing is all exams become online and we can give it online. But then we need to create good. Yes. No, mission supports the vision. Okay, Vishal. Thank you. Now, categories of business processes. So depending on the organization, you could have operational, supporting, and management processes. Let us look at them one by one. So the primary processes, that is basically the which are the core activities that deal with the business. The core business are these processes deliver value to customer by helping to produce a product or deliver a service. Operational processes represent essential business activities needed to accomplish the job. That includes, say, business cycles, order to cash, procurement, purchase to pay. Now, these cycles are in chapter 1. Just I told you that there are things that are going to be commonly used all across this module. So these two words, O2C, P2P, they are part of chapter 1, probably in chapter 2. Then they are going to come again in chapter 4. So just keep your mind. So what I'll be bringing to you, this, so what, see how it helps that a single example we can carry for all the chapters. And I have already told you this is all practical. Okay, we'll be sharing more practical examples. So these are the operational cycles. Then supporting processes are the back-end processes, functions within the organization like human resource and accounting. These are support activities. One key differentiator between the operational and support processes is that, yes, you don't have direct interaction with the customer or the user of the goods or service. You are the back-end process. The operational processes are front-end. Sometimes you call it the front job and you call it the back job. So that is the difference between these two words. Then management processes. Management processes are they measure, monitor, control activities relating to business procedures and systems. Examples of management process includes internal communications, governance, strategic planning, budgeting, infrastructure, or capacity management. Very, very, very important. Capacity management. Keep this word, it is going to come again. Like supporting processes, management processes do not provide direct interaction with the customer, but it has direct impact on the efficiency of the enterprise. For example, if budgeting is a process, look, these are the steps of budgeting process, part of the management. So vision, the strategic plan, the business goal, the revenue projection, the cost projection, the profit projection, the board approval, the budget review. So this becomes part of the management process. So what is management process? Those processes which are relating to the monitoring, controlling activities within a business. Those becomes part of the management processes. Okay. So we talked about operational processes, management processes, and support processes. And next, very, very important, now automating these processes. So we talk about automating this business processes. Yes, so now all of us have been using technology, online buying, online purchasing, online ordering of food. So we all know how this works. I'll be sharing some live examples on this. Okay. Today, technology innovations are increasing day by day. Technology is becoming easily available. Cost of accessing and using technology is going down. Internet connectivity in terms of speed and spread, geographical spread is also increasing. Now we are already in 5G technology. And those of you who are in, I think we already have rollout in 5G across most of the Indian cities. All these factors are having a profound impact on the way business processes being used by entity. Now, see, what I basically want, that I want you to have a feel of this. How automating business processes already affecting you, me, everyone related. So this is affecting all of us. Okay, so I'm just trying to share some examples like the online classes. Someone made a good comment. Yeah, Mansha, that online classes. So all registration processes have been online. You are all studying online. Probably exams will be someday online in the mode that we are having it today. What this means? What this means is that all the processes are being done in an online manner. Okay, I'll answer the question, Mansha, after this discussion. Now, automated business process is what? So let me take this example. Say we order online on these online platforms, you order food. So you place order, you go through the menu, you go to the app through which you're ordering the food. Then to the specific app, you select, you can go by selection of the item or selection of the restaurant. You select the item, go to the menu, select the quantity, make the online payment, or if allows cash on delivery, select cash on delivery and place your order. As soon as you place the order, you get a confirmation, you make a payment. Then few of the online app, they have a tracking mechanism. So on your mobile phone, they show the indication of the status of your order. So if the restaurant is preparing the order, it says it is being prepared. And if the delivery pickup individual, he or she has gone to pick up, it will say that this person is on the way to the restaurant to pick up the product or pick up your ordered food. Then the individual collects the food, so it tells you the food has been collected, and you can have a minute tracking of where the person, he or she is going, where he or she is went. So this is what automation we are all talking about. This has had profound impact on the way we are doing businesses. I don't know, but I understand that because we are reading second group, most of you are already under articles. I presume is just say yes or no. Those who are doing articleship, they need to say yes or no. By that time, I'll try to answer question by Mohini. Yeah. So support and management process. See, please understand on management process is the monitoring, decision making, and the implementation of these processes will be done by the support process. Support means the back end, like accounting. Suppose I do it like this, that I want to say cash flow statement. I'm the managing director of the company and I want a cash flow statement. So based on the cash flow, I'm going to take some decision. This cash flow statement will be provided to me by my accounts department. So my accounts department becomes what? My support process. The decision that I take based on the cash flow, because I am taking the decision, I become the management process. So that is the difference. So support process is basically that, okay, to make it more easier for understanding purpose, support process is that gives the information to the decision maker. So you can take it like this, which basically is providing, in my example, information to the decision maker. Okay. So automating business processes. This is how things are being interlinked. This is how. So one of you say yes. Okay. So articleship, no. Yes, I'm doing. Yes, no. Okay. Not doing. So I understand few of you are doing. Most of you are not doing. Few only are doing. Okay. Nothing bad in that. So once you get into articleship, so in fact, this is good because now you are learning before articleship. So that means when you go for articleship, the understanding of the subject is going to be good. So you can learn much better. Okay. Thank you. Very, very important. Business process automation. What we are basically doing, business process automation. Now, I want to share three very practical examples that came during this lockdown. So the city I am in and where my house is there. So outside my house, we know all businesses were hurt. So you will answer that which businesses made good during lockdown. So one of the business store you call the small stores, Kirana individual, I told that now because you're doing good business, so you need to automate your process. Automate your process means you need to ensure create an app on the mobile phone and collect orders through app. Allow your customers to make online payments. I just couldn't convince. I did try to help him that if you want, I can create that for you so that you can get spread your business and then you start delivering. He did not do it. In fact, he has not done it now also. Now, what has happened because the business was good. So now the same grocery store has a competitor exactly opposite his own shop. That competitor allows he or she is able to give competition to the other person. It is allowing you to go a larger geographical spread. That is what is happening. One. Second, the town I come from, it's very famous for its snack businesses. One of a very big snack manufacturers and sellers in our town. So in the month of June, they launched a online app and you could order on the online app and you could make the online payments. It was very well accepted and they did actually good business. So now I create business process automation. So one of the core of capability of success of any business process automation is these three. Now see that snack seller, when I made my first payment to that snack seller, it gave me a good feeling about the security of my transaction. See, when you do online payments, it must be in secure mode. Because that app was so well made, it helped me understand that it's a secured mode of payment. And because it was secured, I kept on using the app, and the snack seller, they got good business just because they had created an app. This is what is the slide that you are looking at. Any automation is going to succeed when three components: confidentiality, integrity, availability, and the fourth very important pillar is timeliness. What is confidentiality? Data is available to only required person. Integrity, you cannot make unauthorized amendments. Availability, the data is available when you ask for. Timeliness, it has to be done in a timely manner, real-time basis. If all the parameters are met, then you could have success to your business process automation. If any one parameter is missed, there will be no success to that. Let me just take another example. See, one of the most used accounting software is Tally. So I've been trying to see how it can be automated, how you can get it on mobile. So some vendor in some software vendor, they created an app that allowed me to access my Tally through my mobile some 2-3 years back. I did take a demo version, but then I realized that using that app was not secure. I stopped using it. See, it is very, very important. Whenever you try to automate any business, what is the key component? Confidentiality, integrity, availability, and timeliness. These components are there, then your automation is going to achieve the desired success. Okay, Vijay Shankar, it could be internet issue. So let us, okay, I'll accept what you say, but it could be like internet issue, speed issue. Okay, because there's from my location, the relay is then they go through central server and then it is relayed to you. So there could be issue, except next MCQ. Okay. So the first aspect password will ensure for a business process automation is you have to say A, B, C, or D. I gave this example. I am allowing you to answer the question. Okay. I know that there's a time lag. You require need to put a lot of data to answer questions. So I just wait for it. We have technical support. Ram, students are commenting. Some video lag. Just check at your end. Okay. So let us look to the answer. So MCQ 2. Maisha, you're not given the answer. You said MCQ 2. A and B. It is only one. Let us see what is the correct answer. Great. So you understand it. What is confidentiality? Only the authorized person, he or she can access. So password will only allow authorized person to gain access. Great. What are the benefits? These are fantastic. We could have huge discussion on each line. I'll just read the headers of it. Okay. Bring some good issues. So what is the question we are answering? Benefits of automating business processes. So quality, consistency, yes. It ensures quality results are delivered. It saves a lot of time. Yes, I think that is one thing that need no definition. That is, you do in a fast mode. In fact, yeah, answer is B. Thank you. So, lot of you have answered. Maisha has also answered. Vasudha, Harsh, Tanushri, Munisha, Sakshi, then Ramakrishnan, Akanksha, Sriram, Radha, Anant Raman. Okay. So, now it saves time. In fact, sometimes I wish that all your exam is 100% MCQ based. So I did talk to a few students. What is the greatest difference an 100% MCQ exam and to a written exam will be? So one of the students, he gave a fantastic answer to me. He told me, sir, saying it in Hindi first and then I'll convert it into English. That student, he told me, sir, 100% MCQ में एग्जाम देंगे ना, तो एग्जाम हॉल के बाहर निकलते रिजल्ट आ जाता है. So when I gave 100% MCQ based exam, my result will be, as I get outside the exam center, the result will be printed there. Time saving. So you don't have a 3 month time lag. You get immediately the result. So that is, it saves time. Fast. Okay. But then there are different parameters to look into that. Good. So, Radha, integrity ensures reliability. I have answered your question. Integrity ensures reliability. Have I answered that? You say yes or no. Okay. So Radha put a question with what is the difference between integrity and reliability? So I have said integrity ensures reliability. Confidentiality is that you allow access to authorized person. Only a person who has a need to know, he or she can access that data, information, asset like that. Then visibility. Automated processes can be controlled. Yes, we can, like I told you example of that ordering food online. So you are able to see where the bike rider is. So visibility, you can see whether there is a time lag. In fact, we always do it. Suppose you find that the bike rider, he or she has picked the delivered to be delivered food, and you find that that individual has stopped at a location for more than 5 minutes. So when the delivery is done, you do ask that person, why did you stop? So then he tells you that there was a breakage in the bike, or there was a petrol fueling he or she was doing. So that visibility is there. You can always track, and this visibility is across the system. Where there is any issue, you can always track that. Yes, Radha, great. Reliability is a subset. Fantastic. So you are absolutely fantastic students. You know it. See, what I'm only doing, I'll be framing this in your mind so that you can answer that with ease. See, you know what is the core of the discussion we'll have? The only core of the discussion we have is to create your interest in the subject. You feel reading the subject. I'm sharing very practical. You know what you do? Suppose we have the class today. So today is say 1st of April. And just taking things being normal, say, for example, 15th of May, you will have exam. You know what you will do? You will listen to these lectures today, and then 14th of May, you will open the chapters and see how things are. No, I don't want it to be changed. I want you. So once you create an interest, you'll start reading it. And believe me, if you do 1-2 revision, then 80% marks you will get with all the effort you will put into it. Then improved operational efficiency. Yes, automation reduces the time it takes to achieve the task. It ensures that the system is running smoothly, efficiently, and it also ensures that errors are removed, eliminated. As you automate, the number of errors go down slowly and steadily because we start learning the system. Then you can create good governance and reliability because now everything is tracked. So see, look to the various advantages we have. Today, GST, when it was launched in July 2017, today is we are running into the 4th year of GST. The tracking that GST is allowing government to do is phenomenal tracking of how things are moving. So it creates a huge tracking mechanism. The governance perception goes very high. Governance is controlling, responding to stakeholders. Oh, great question, Vishal. Vishal has put a fantastic question. Let me read the question and then I'll answer during this discussion. Question of gem of a question. Who is in default if any mistake when work is integrated? Then how integrity ensure reliability? Keep it pending, Vishal. You have answered a real gem of a question. Okay, I'll answer that. Okay. It is going to come part of our discussion. I'll then reduce TAT turnaround time because you get like the exam, see how I feel 100%. You can always say, sir, this is good or bad. My idea about 100% MCQ based exam, you say it is a good idea, sir, bad idea. So I learn from you. My idea is it is a good idea. I feel it must be done. So what will ensure? Here you give the exam. As you go outside the door, you get the result, and then you can have more exams. So right now, suppose you have exams twice a year, you can have exams 12 every month. You have an exam. Do it. Reduce turnaround time. You can come back again. So that is how it manages the process very fast. Yes, it saves cost, reduces cost. Okay, now, so someone at the start of the session asked that, sir, are there updates? So see, these two updates are there in this topic from the last attempt. So these two have been added. So I'll be reading from the module itself. First is which process should be automated. So I've got this printout with me. And BPA, what are the challenges in implementing business process automation? So I'm basically taking it from the module, which processes should be automated. So those processes which have high volume or repetitive tasks, you can carry the keywords, high volume, repetitive, automate, great. There's a word that we talked about that was your chapter 4 is emerging technology. Keep that in mind, automated processes. I'll answer that there, chapter 4. So high volume, repetitive tasks, they can be automated. Then those processes which have multiple people to doing a task, that can be automated. Those processes which have been done on a time-drawn manner, time-based, which are very sensitive, those processes can be automated. Those processes which require compliance and audit trails, because we need a tracking. So those processes can be automated. Processes having significant impact on other processes and systems. So interrelated processes, they can be automated. So first new topic was which process should be automated. I'm doing it again. Those processes which are repetitive, those processes which have high volume, those processes which have many people working on them, those processes which are time sensitive, those processes which require compliance and audit trails, and those processes which are interlinked to many other processes. All these processes can be automated. That is first new topic that has been added in the module. Then next new topic that has been added in the module is challenges in implementing business process automation. So what challenges you face means when you decide to automate, what challenges? So I would have loved you to answer this, then I would have discussed, but then there's a time gap and we are very short of time. So I'm doing it. Ideally, I would have loved you to answer and then discuss. So what are the challenges in business process automation? Okay, let us do it in this manner. I have not discussed this question with you. Challenges, you put challenges. So this is a challenge in implementing BP. You write on the challenges. We'll do the next topic and come back on this. So this will help us talk good. So what the question you are answering is what is challenges in implementing business process automation? You need not look anywhere. You have to focus on the discussion I have done with you. And based on that, you start answering. Okay, challenges in implementing business process automation. I'll go ahead and then come back on this after the next topic. Then these are steps to implementing business process automation. So it's going to be a huge discussion. I'll be saving time on that. Define why we plan to implement a business process automation. So I'll take example from the grocery seller and the snack seller in my town. Why we plan to implement a business process automation? This is one of the most important questions to answer. Please understand, this is the key question. Like, for example, our institute has a vision to make institute EICI 100%. So what is the need? Now see the point that comes, and you'll 100% agree with this. Errors in manual processes leading to higher cost, paying for goods and services not received, not being able to track documents, unable to train new employees, lack of management understanding of business processes. I'll allow you to pose the challenges, and after this implementation, we'll go back to the slide. So why you go for automation? These could be core reasons. Each reason can be a case study to discuss, but we are short of time. But I think you get the whole idea why we need to implement a business process automation. First, this is the core why we need. Then, what we are reading, steps of implementing BPA. So first define why BPA. Then understand rules and regulations under which the enterprise is going to operate. Very, very important. In fact, because they sometimes the automation is not in line with law, it fails. Let me read. One of the most important steps in automating any business process is to understand the rules of engagement, which include adhering to the regulations, including documentation requirement. This governance is established by combination of internal corporate policies, external regulation, local, state, central laws. Entity needs to ensure that whatever automation they do, it meets the requirement of law. Very, very important. So once you have decided why, then you need to ensure that the automation is as per the need of the, or as in compliance with applicable rules and regulation. Second step. Third step. Again, very, very important. Please document what you want to automate. The example I took of the grocery seller was what? I basically wanted him to automate his order booking process. He was slightly apprehensive about the payment process. I told, don't worry about the payment. You do COD, cash on delivery. I wanted him to automate his order acceptance process. What you wanted to automate? The snack seller, he automated the whole chain. So from order to payment, they automated. So you need to break down what I need to do. So when you decide to automate, you need to know what you are automating, which documents you want to capture through automation, source of the document, the present format of the document, what processing is involved, what regulatory impact that process is going to have. Can there be a better way of doing the same job? And if there are exceptions, how the exceptions will be handled in the process. So again, very, very important. What we wish to automate. Then define the objectives and goals that you wish to achieve by implementing BPA. So I take this from the module. You need to do it in a smart manner. So be very specific. Whatever goals you decide, they have to be measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So for this class, this subject, our smart way is 80%. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So that is what we want to target. Then, so you can engage a business process consultant. So now because you all answered good on challenges, after this I'll go read your exceptions. So to this, there's a question I want to put. Once you become chartered accountant, can you all become business process consultant for automation? You have to say yes or no. So the question you are answering is, can chartered accountant become a business process consultant? You say yes or no. It's huge to decide. So once you have, so what you've decided, the why part, the regulation, what part, the benefits, and then you need a consultant to help. So what the consultant will ensure, he or she will ensure objectivity to the whole process. The consultant you engage, he or she must have experience, The consultant must understand your business process, then you can engage that consultant. It's not necessary. It is preferred, desired, because consultant is going to be an expert. So he or she will bring the best way of doing things forward. So the question you are answering here is, can chartered accountant become a business process consultant? You have to say yes or no. And you know ROI, return on investment. So every slide is going to have a question. Okay, so I'll not miss on that. So again, step 6. So for doing chartered accountancy, you expend money, you expend time. So you calculate your value of your time, calculate the money you expend on becoming a chartered accountant, and then you say, suppose you become chartered accountant tomorrow. So what is ROI? ROI is return on investment. So return on investment can be, say, suppose I say my ROI is 40%. So what is 40%? If I invest 100 rupees, I get 40% return every year. So if my ROI is 40%, my payback period is 2.5 years. In that period, I'll get my money back. So what I want you to answer here is on slide number 6, step 6, what is ROI of you as a CS student, the total cost you incur, and the payback period you feel you'll get the cost back. So you have to say in terms of number of years, the payback period. So you need to become a what is the ROI of a chartered accountant? And take my word, I'm just giving you a hint. ROI of a CA is going to be least of all you can think. You can think MBAs, you can think engineers, you can think doctors. ROI of we as professional is the least in terms of time frame. So please answer that. We'll go to the next one. So ROI is what? A business owner, he or she is going to invest money. So when you invest money, you seek a payback. In what period I'll get my money back? That is ROI, return on investment. So you need to calculate. And then not every business owner, he or she can calculate. So who is going to calculate ROI? The consultant that was hired in step number 5. So one answer, let me have more. So we have smart answers. So we are all smart students. Great. Then developing the business process automation. So step 7 is now actually developing it. So you talked about the why part, what part, the ROI part, the benefits part, and now developing it. And once developed, you testing of business process automation. So once you, before going live, you test your business process automation. Now, there are multiple cases given. So case 1, automation of business order processing, it's in the module itself. See, because we are short of time, I've referred to that in the module itself. So please read from the module. Then employee attendance, that is again in the module. So what I request you, kindly read these cases. And if there's not anything not clear in the cases, come back. I'm here with you. We'll have next session also. Today also, if you feel there is something missed out, then please ask the question and then I'll explain on the automation of these processes, these case studies. Then I wanted to discuss this automation of internal audit process. Only point that I'm making that we have been able to do internal audit process that our team does through a mobile phone. So that is complete automation of the internal audit process. So how you do that? So it's a larger discussion. We have less time for this in this session. Okay. So testing BPA. So we'll just have a fast recap. This is a very important question for exam. I'll just run through the steps. Then you have answered a lot. So I'll read those. So step 1, why? Step 2, the regulatory needs. Step 3, the documents we need to or we plan to automate. Step 4, the objectives through BPA. Step 5, engaging a BPA business process consultant. Step 6, calculating ROI. Step 7, developing BPA. And step 8 is testing of BPA. That is how you. Now let me read the answers you all have given. So let me read the good ones. So ROI is, Harsh says more than 3 years. Okay. ROI is greater than 3 years. Then Anirudh says, sir, there is no ROI in CA course. It is a sunk cost. Then Ashutosh appears very optimistic. Payback period is 1 year. I am with you, Ashutosh. Monisha says 100% ROI within payback period of 6 months. Great. Vijita, very. So ROI, Vijita is not answered. J. Shankar within a year or two. So that is return on investment. Now, the question that I wanted you to answer was challenges. We want to go to that. So can CA be a business process consultant? You have said yes. So challenges, yeah. So there are many you have answered. Okay, so first, G. Handevi Reddy has a question. So what is the meaning of adhering? Adhering means complying, in compliance to, adhering to law, in compliance with. Okay. Why this word justifies need for, I couldn't get the question, Mansha. Challenges, very technical, we would require, yes. So challenges is one challenge that has been put very well by Mohini, that is that because you go for business process automation, it is going to be technical. So you cannot be doing it on your own. You require a consultant to help you do. Great. Then automation needs, that is Uma Vasudev, automation needs high cost. Automation requires a lot of changes. Automation is technical and complex process. Okay. So because it is complex, that becomes a challenge. Challenge is cost is high, so cost is a main concern. Setting up itself is a main challenge. Good. That is Nandishwaran. Interacting, creating interfaces with the customer. Complex product, cost of setup is a challenge. Training. Employee may not like it. Complex. Okay, good. So now you have answered challenges very well. Let us read from the module. Let me go to the slide with the word challenges. So what the module says. So first says, I'll have to define this word. First point made in the module is the automating redundant processes. Now see, redundancy is sometimes organizations start off in automation projects by automating processes they find suitable without considering whether such processes are necessary and create value. Means what you are doing, you go for automation of processes which, even if automated, are not adding value. That means, see, that goes to the next step. Why this topic has been added? Because it relates to the next very important step. Why and what? So you need to be very clear on what to be automated. Very important. Next. Complexity, you have answered correctly that because processes are complex, it can become a challenge of automating. There is a change. Automation will lead to change and there is resistance to change. So that itself is a challenge. Implementation cost. So you have said it correctly. Yes, so there is going to be resistance to change. Great. Okay. So let us go to the next one. Risk and its management. This is one of the topics I enjoy most. So that takes care of a basic frame of the chapter. Any questions? And then go to that. Risk is next part of the chapter. So first part was basically whole sub parts were basically about processes, automation, BPS. Now the next heading that starts with risk. So any questions you have till here? I'm just taking a sip of water. Let us start. Risk and its management. So what is risk? What are the sources of the risk? Types. Again, I'll be asking many questions. So as I start, let us start with the questions itself. Okay. Risk management related terms, risk management strategies. So those of you who are going to your offices, or in fact, all of us are using technology. We are using mobile phones to do a lot of things. Ordering food, ordering product, online banking, mobile banking. So what you do, great Jyoti. Radha, what it takes to to become a chartered accountant. That is the only thing. And a good understanding of how the processes work. See, please understand, I'm just putting something that, suppose I say SA 500. SA 500. What I'm talking about? SA 500. Your standard on auditing 500. What I'm talking about? So this time gap. So SA 500 is about audit evidences. Then within audit evidences, you have techniques of collecting evidences. So what you do, let me ask the question and then I'll come at the end and bring about the case that I want to share. Radha has again put a very good question. There's one question pending. I'll answer that. What it takes to be business process consultant. So there are two questions. SA 500, I've already answered that. Audit evidence. In that audit evidence standard, there are techniques of collecting evidence. So what I want, put in the chat box, the techniques of collecting evidences. You have to type the techniques and then I'll come back to answering question by Rama. Okay. Now, risk and its management. Introduction, sources, types, risk management related terms and strategies. So one question you are answering is techniques of collecting evidences. Then techniques. Now you are answering techniques. And the second question is from this slide. Now, because see, we all do mobile banking. I want you to answer what are the risks when you do mobile banking, or suppose you have this mobile phone. What risk you can imagine? Just risk. Type the risk, whatever you feel like. Let us start. So introduction, sources. Let us go to the introduction. Risk is an event that may result in a significant deviation from planned objective, resulting in an unwanted negative consequence. The planned objective could be any aspect of an enterprise strategy, financial, regulatory, operational, relating to product or service. The degree of risk associated with an event is determined by the likelihood, that is uncertainty, probability of the event occurring, and the impact if the event were to occur and its timing. So a lot of components have been added in the definition of risk. Now, so what is risk? Risk is any unplanned, unwanted event that has negative consequences. Say, for example, rain in the month of March is generally unplanned. What risk it has? Yet it has risk because the crop, the agricultural crop, which is in the agricultural land, that has to be cut. So if you have rain, the quality of crop may go down. If you have thunderstorm, the crop may be destroyed. So that becomes risk. So the question you are answering is that when you use mobile, what risks you can imagine? Okay. So what we are trying to see, what is risk? Next one. Sources of risk. Very important. The most important step in risk management process is to capability of identifying sources. It could be commercials, legal relationship, economic circumstances, human behavior, natural event, political risk, technological technical issues, management activity controls, and individual activity. Please understand each word is a huge discussion. Sources, definition, we are keeping it to the extent given here. So you could have commercial risk, legal risk, economic, human behavior related risk, natural event. The example I gave was rain in the month of March is natural, thunderstorm, political circumstances, technical issues, technology, government banning something, that becomes a technology risk that you cannot use this, control risk. So these become sources of risk. Any risk is going to have following characteristics. What are the characteristics? Potential loss that exists as a result of threat vulnerability. We'll be talking about these words. Uncertainty of loss expressed in terms of probability of such loss and likelihood. So what could be the loss? The level of uncertainty and the nature of attack that could lead to loss. So any risk is going to have all these characteristics. Risk types. Business risk, technological risk, and data risk. Now, that is the reason I asked you the question. Let me read from the answers you gave, and then we'll classify them. Okay, we are going to learn from the answers you have given. Hacking. Good. So hacking in your mind. Okay, again answering questions. Hacking is what? Business, technology, or data? You say hacking, BTA, BTD. Okay. Then hacking. Data theft. So data theft. So that directly answers the question. Data theft. So hacking is what risk? Data theft is what risk? Money theft. Ransomware. Yes, that is whose Pranav has used ransomware. Good. So you are all aware. Great. Unauthorized use of phone, loss of data, loss of network, everything is covered. Health risk. Yes. Unauthorized access, loss of data, less security. So risk can be categorized as business, technological, and data. So let us read. Business risk, anything that leads to any event that leads to or affects the business directly as businesses. The event can be a strategic risk, a financial risk, a compliance risk, an operational risk, and this can have further subdivisions. Imagine the huge topic risk is. So you have said technological data. Yes. So hacking by name is technology. The result could be data loss. Okay, great. Trojans. So who has used Trojans? Srinivas, great. Trojans are malware which capture critical data about user. So businesses can be strategic, financial, regulatory, and operational risk. That is business risk. Within that, you could have multiple risks. Okay, leave that. So what is business risk? Any risk that affects my business is business risk. Great. Hazard risk, residual risk. So 6 business risks: strategic, financial, regulatory, operational, hazard, and residual risk. Again, a question. Yes, Vasudha, great. Change of government and policies, fantastic. Myanmar, we are all looking at what's happening. Money threats. Now, a question on these 2 slides. COVID, Corona is what nature of risk from these 6? What are these 6? Strategic, financial, regulatory, hazard, and residual risk. COVID, Corona is what? Within these 6. Next. So it's MCQ. I never knew it. It came like that. So COVID Corona is what? So now we have two questions. Answering MCQ 3 and another question I put, COVID Corona is what? So in fact, I have answered one question. Corona is a hazard risk. So Radha, Shriram, obsolescence is a technology risk. Great. Thank you. So I think this MCQ is answered. So let us save time here. It's a business risk. Within business risk, it is hazard risk. Great. So they've all answered these MCQs. Great. So this is going to be fantastic. Huh? If you know, if we can learn that, I'll ask a question and you know the MCQ is coming here. So that does the job. Then next is technological risk. Great. Oh, this is very important. Dependence on technology. Because see, whenever I say mobile, is a risk. The network is not there. That is a risk. In fact, to the student who asked whether there is an update, yes. In this slide also there is an update. The first point, downtime due to technology failure has been added. At first point, downtime due to technology failure was not there in the previous module. It has been added in very good addition. It's a risk. My mobile is down, then it is a technology risk. So we have answered 3 was business risk and 4 was hazard risk. 4B, 3C. Great. Okay. Hazard risk, yeah. See, there could be one more option you could create, health risk, but then we have not created it. So it's hazard risk. The result would be financial loss. Agreed. But see, because it's a good point. So how you answer questions. So we need to know what is the first thing that is going to happen. The result, these are impacts. Now, sorry. So coming to the next heading, technological risk. So dependence on technology in business process automation makes the risk parameter very important. What are the sources? So I'm just reading it. Okay. Downtime, we agree. Frequent changes, we agree. In fact, someone of you commented. Multiplicity and complexity, we agree. Types of controls in technologies, they are different. That is a risk. Business objectives need to be aligned to regulatory requirement. That is again a risk. Dependence on vendors. Yes, that's a huge issue. I've had very good case studies, but we don't have time to discuss this dependence on vendors beyond what is given. But please understand, it's a very big risk that if your vendor goes bankrupt, it creates a risk to your business. Then vendor-related concentration risk, again very important. That lot of outsourcing leads to lot of support services being given to a single vendor. So this vendor can blackmail you, and that is a real risk, believe me. When I say vendor related risk, outsourcing, I'm talking of SA402 clients using service organizations. So I told you this subject is king of all. Everything is going to come here. You read there and then you read everywhere, implement here. That is. Then SOD, segregation of duty. Very important. Maker cannot be checker. The basic concept of internal control. External threats like cyber frauds and crimes. During the next chapters, you will have very good discussion on cyber frauds and crimes. Intentional, unintentional act by the employees. Social engineering. You know what is social engineering? Okay. Social engineering is basically trying to emotionally blackmail someone, giving a reference to this relationships and then getting some critical information out of that person. That is called as social engineering. Then need for governance processes to adequate manage technology. This is again very important. If I say IFC, Internal Financial Control within Companies Act, so to have proper internal financial control, if you're using softwares, then those controls need to be implemented in software. So that risk becomes very big. Need to ensure continuity of business process in event of major exigencies. Like COVID. So COVID affected the business continuity of many businesses. I had asked you a question. You can answer that again. Those businesses which have survived, made good in COVID. Okay. Then data related risk. We have taken the example of that data loss that can happen in mobile, in technology. So just carry that. There is going to be a big discussion in chapter 3, data related issues. And risk management in related terms. I'll discuss and then ask question. Okay. Keep yourself ready. So risk management is a process of assessing the risk, taking steps to reduce the risk to an acceptable level and maintaining the level of that risk. That involves identifying, measuring, minimizing uncertain events. So now these are important words. Okay, and I'll be asking many questions. Please keep your eyes open to these questions. Asset. Asset can be defined as something that has value to the organization. It is, please understand, it is not necessarily asset that you recognize in the balance sheet. It could be other assets. Like in the example they have given, assets like employees. So please understand what is asset to an entity. If that thing is not there and the entity business is affected, you call that as an asset. So it could be an employee, it could be a process, it could be a way of doing things. Those assets which are accounted, tangibles and intangibles, those are assets. We want examples beyond that. What are assets? Non-availability of those things are going to affect the business. Those becomes assets. That could be employee, that could be processes, like that. Okay, good. So you're answering that question. Good. Pooja, your question is basically to be asked to the institute. I request you to please mail to the institute because see, it's technology and updates to technology are very fast. So please confirm. But most of that is going to be there. Some updates could be there, but I'll request you to please take a official confirmation from the institute. Yes, key management person. Fantastic, Jyotish. Great answer. You know, there's a key management insurance also just because of this. Great. So these are assets. First word. Second, vulnerability. Okay. Right. Now see what I'm doing. I'm not explaining this. I'll be asking a question and then you answer and then I'll explain. Okay. So first word was asset, vulnerability, threat, exposure, likelihood, attack and countermeasure. Okay. I'm not defined any word. I'll be doing it. Don't worry. So let me give it an example. Yes. So Monisha, manpower is an asset. Technologies are an asset. Radha says backbone. Very good. Good, Radha. We all remain assets to our parents. That is God's grace. I just wish none of us become the other side of the balance sheet. And we will not be. So it's like God has been great to all of us. Great. Now, the question. So I'll be asking question one by one. Okay. Now, what I do, I'll give an example to define these words. So I'm first defining vulnerability. The room that I'm sitting is a door to the room. The door is open. That is vulnerability. The door is open. That is vulnerability. Now, what is vulnerability? Vulnerability is weakness. Vulnerability is weakness. What is threat? Threat in my example is that because the door is open, someone can enter, that is threat. Now, so what is vulnerability is weakness. What is threat? Someone can enter in from the door, that is threat. Now this question you are going to answer. By the time you try to answer, I'll read the other terms. So I've defined two terms to you. Vulnerability is weakness. Example is, there are laptops in the room, more than one laptop, the door is open. That is vulnerability. What is threat? Someone can enter from that gate, the open door, that is threat. Now you tell me what is the risk. So in the given example, you are defining the risk. By the time you define, I'll go to the next questions, next items. Exposure. We'll come to exposure at the last. Likelihood. Likelihood is of the threat occurring is the estimation of the probability that threat will succeed in achieving an undesirable event. Possibility of it happening is likely. Attack is the actual way of hitting. So whenever there is an attack, so it is going to hit the three pillars, either confidentiality, integrity, or availability. So the way you launch it, that is attack. What is countermeasure? Basically, countermeasures are controls. It could be through an action, through a device, procedure, or technique, or measures to reduce vulnerability. That is countermeasure. So vulnerability was weakness. Threat was exploiting weakness. Countermeasure was trying to mitigate the vulnerability. And now what is exposure? Let me read and you'll understand. An exposure is the extent of loss the enterprise has to face where the risk materializes. Means what? The countermeasure has not been able to reduce it to zero. Some level remains. It is not just the immediate impact, but the real harm that occurs in long run. For example, loss of business, failure to perform systems missions. What is exposure? Where controls may not work as desired, that may be an exposure. It can have a long-term impact. Now to the question I had asked. Let us see what is the next slide, then to the question I had asked. Okay. So the next slide later on. Okay. Laptop theft. Data can be lost. Data can be stolen. Loss of asset. Loss of laptop data. Business risk. Risk of loss of data. Entering the room and the laptop, stealing the laptop. Risk is action. Ashutosh, great. Ashutosh says risk is action of the person entering. Good. So it can be he or she can take the laptop, he or she can take the data. Unauthorized access. Yes, I think this goes to Sriram. This goes to Sriram. He has put it in mathematical equation. Risk multiplied by vulnerability is probability of happening of the risk. If there is a chocolate to be shared, it goes to Sriram. Thank you. I wanted you to use the word probability. See, let me go to the definition. This is very, very important because we are going to ask many MCQs on this. I want you to read the definition. We can go back. No issues. Oh, sorry. We'll have to go a lot of. Let me read. So, what was risk? The definition was uncertain event. The likelihood is also not defined. So, what is risk is probability of someone entering. Whether he or she is going to enter, we don't know. Then, installing a malware. Great. Fantastic, Srinivas. Harsh. So Harsh says that because your laptop will be, I love this, Harsh. Great. So the next chocolate goes to Harsh. The Harsh says that, sir, if your laptop goes, then we'll have no virtual class. Thank you. Risk of robbery, getting attacked. Okay, fantastic. So risk was that probability of loss is risk. Great. Now MCQ, and then we'll have more than one. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. I want the answer to this MCQ, then only we'll go ahead. By the time I can have a sip of water. Which, if assessed poorly, will lead to maximum loss, vulnerability, threat, risk, or impact. Okay, so I understand you all have, let me refresh the answer screen. Yes, good. So Shubha says A, Radha says D, Manisha says A, Shaurya A, Shriram says B, threat. Aditya says DDD, impact. Srinivas says vulnerability A. Okay, the right answer is A. Because if you have not assessed vulnerability properly, you have not assessed weakness. Okay. Now see, this is going to be source of many MCQs. Please understand this is very important. If I have not assessed vulnerability properly, what I am not installed. So first question from this is, if I have not assessed vulnerability properly, what is not there in my system? First. Second question. First question is clear. I'm asking you. Yeah, rather A. Yes. Darshita also A. Pranav, no, not threat. Nandishwaram A. Yes. Onisha said D. No. Ananthraman risk. No. Vulnerability. Moini vulnerability. Okay. We have read all answers. Now, next question is, if I assess vulnerability improperly, what I am not going to install? Answer that. Next question. The question remains the same. I am changing the options. Question is same. I am changing the option. A is vulnerability, B is threat, C is risk, D is asset. Vulnerability, threat, risk, and asset. Now you answer. What is the correct answer? So we have two questions to answer. If vulnerability is assessed poorly, what I will not do? I have not given options to this question. Second, I have changed the options to the question. Question remains the same. Okay, Aditi, thank you. Question remains the same. The options are now A is vulnerability, B is threat, C is risk, and D is asset. So by the time you answer, let me go ahead. The answer to this question was A, vulnerability. Then risk management strategies. Risk management begins with clear understanding of enterprises' risk appetite and identifying the high-level risk exposures. After defining risk appetite and identified risk exposures, strategies for managing risk and responsibilities are clarified. Okay, so Radha says asset improperly, then security, yes. So if you don't assess vulnerability properly, what you will not have? Security, countermeasure, controls, and good, Ram Kumar, fantastic. Ram Kumar has answered the second question, asset. So see, now if I don't identify my asset, I will not do vulnerability analysis. So what is the most important aspect? To know this is my asset. And that is why definition of the asset, when we talked about, we specifically read that it is beyond accounted assets, both tangibles and intangibles, beyond those assets. So one of you had put very clearly, employees are backbone. Processes are also backbones. Proprietary processes are backbones. So these are assets of any entities. Great. Now we are on risk management strategies. Yes, great, Srinivas. Fantastic. So Srinivas has also answered correctly both the questions. So our score is 300 on the chat box. Great. So there are only 2 or 3 triple centurions, in India. Effective risk management begins with clear understanding of the risk appetite and identifying the high level of risk exposures. After defining the risk appetite, identified risk exposure, strategies need to be brought in. So let us see what those strategies could be. I want you to read those and then I'll explain them. Tolerate, accept the risk, terminate, eliminate the risk, transfer, share the risk, treat, mitigate the risk, turn back. Tolerate. So it is going to be there. So we accept that risk where the probability is low, then we allow it to be part of the business. That is accepting risk. Eliminating the risk, it is possible for the risk to be associated with use of technology, supplier, or vendor. So eliminate means you change the technology, change the supplier, or change the vendor. Remove that risk. Transfer the risk. Risk mitigation approach can be shared with trading partners and suppliers. So, like outsourcing is a good example of transferring. Mitigating, where other options have been eliminated, suitable controls. So you put, see, risk is with you, then you put controls. So that is mitigating the risk. And if you feel that where the probability or impact of the risk is very low, then management may decide to ignore the risk. Let it be there like that. So accepting, eliminating, sharing, mitigating, and ignoring the risk. Turning back. Means turning back means let the risk be there. I'll go ahead. I'll move ahead like that. Very, very intelligent question. Which risk management strategy indicates lowest risk value? So now because you have the question, let me go back to the definition. So acceptance, termination, transferring, and turn back. Lowest risk value. So what are the strategies? Accepting, termination, transferring, turn back, and mitigate. Mitigate has not been brought as an option, but that is also an option, which has a lowest risk value. Of these 4, which risk is going to have the lowest value? Like that. Okay. So you answer question 6. I'll go ahead. Now, so main topics. So that takes care of risk concept. Now again, so what is the change from the previous and this module? Here there is per se no change. The only so I've got a lot of answers. 15 updates en masse. So let me read. 6A. 6D was the answer, yes. So, no, acceptance not. Turn back. D, Pranav. Good. Shankar, turn back. D. Nandishwaran, D. Correct. Radha here. I'll read Radha's answer later on. So Darshita is D. Ram Kumar is C. Chance, no, D. It's D. So D is the correct answer. Okay, if someone has done something else. Let me read Radha. So Radha says, accept the risk, failing in exam. Eliminate the risk, prepare well for exam. Share the risk. Share is not quitting. Choosing other viable options. Oh, I don't know. Please don't do it. You can all do it. Okay. So we're not taking it. Yeah. See, major very good question by Aditi. The major difference, Muskan and Aditi have the same question. The major difference between tolerate and turn back is the quantum of risk. That is why this MCQ becomes important. That is why it tells us that in which of the risk parameter will be very, very low, that is turn back. So the key difference is the value of risk, if I have answered the question correctly. Because based on this, your risk strategy is defined. That is the point. Okay. Now, so we are on enterprise risk management. This topic in the previous module was after controls, but now it has been the batting order of enterprise risk management has been improved. So now it is before controls. That is the only change. The rest all remains same, and it's a good change that you first have risk management and then you have controls. So Jyoti also has D and Kiran has combination no. Okay, so I've answered your question. Great. So enterprise risk management. So I've kept two laptops, so it allows me to look to your parallelly. I can look to your submission, so that keeps our interaction good. ERM, enterprise risk management. So this again is a very good topic. So see, because you are entering young in chartered accountancy, you are just entered. So one business opportunity, one professional opportunity I talked about was business process consultant. Second is this ERM consultant, enterprise risk management consultant. It's a great opportunity. In which, yes, so Jyoti, that's a dicey question. But trying to answer, see, please understand, your question has more than one correct answer. Jyoti has put a very good question. Sir, if you have discussed low, why don't we discuss the highest value? See, highest value can be in more than one. The point is, for a highest value, you could have a different strategy. So it could be mitigating, it could be transferring. So highest value doesn't have one single answer. That is the point. So ERM, introduction, benefits, and framework. Let us take it. Now, what enterprise risk management is basically about. So please understand, ERM is like having a holistic risk perception to the entity. Holistic means the whole parameter. Everything is part of the entity itself, like that. In implementing controls, it is important to adopt holistic and comprehensive approach. Hence, ideally, it should consider the overall business objectives, processes, structure, technology, and risk appetite. Risk appetite is how much I can bear, like that. Okay. Based on this, overall risk management strategy has to be adopted. It should be designed and promoted by top management and implemented at all levels. This is very important. When I say ERM, so it is applicable to all, means from top management, managing director, chairman, to the person who was doing house jobs. Those people are also covered within this ERM, which is very, very, very important. I'm just giving you, this COVID corona, we are all using sanitizers. So it has actually happened in one of the companies. Huge. So to Ashutosh, huge. I don't know, Aditya, whether do we generally have a break? I don't know exactly. Do we have breaks in classes? You say yes or no. Then today, because we are already in the end of the class, so let us have no break today. Next class, we can have a break if it is there, if it is scheduled. Do we need a break also, Miss, if you feel that there has to be? I missed that update this time, that whether we can have a break and at what time generally we have. But I think if you feel like if institute allows, then we can always have a break. You are getting break. You okay? You do get break. Sorry. Today, Harsh. Okay. So let us not have a break today. I got all of your points. So next class we'll have a break after say 1.5 hour or 1.15 hours. We'll have a break next time. Sorry, I missed that in the flow and the discussion and the feedback you are giving. So in that flow, I missed the break also. So let us miss the break. That firm I did my articleship. So we had many tax audits in the month of, just sharing something very personal. So in the month of September, October, that time during my articleship, so we used to stay in our office till 10 p.m. in the evening, and there were at least 2 or 3 days we used to go home 6 a.m. in the morning. So it was like doing articleship without break, 24 hours non-stop working. So let us do that. We'll do. Monisha will have a break next time. Sorry, this time. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll do Vijay Shankar. Thank you. Thanks for the update. Yeah. Thank you, Vikash. Okay. So ERM, Enterprise Risk Management. So what we were basically talking about, so you create a holistic approach to the business. That is ERM. So the example I was giving, so in one of the companies, the person doing house job, he cleaned his hand with sanitizer and he lit a matchstick to smoke. He actually got burned. Now, see, understand. See, we all have been getting this warning on WhatsApp that when you use sanitizers, please don't go near fire. It is a risk that is relevant for the managing director and the person, any employee of the entity at whatever level he or she is working. That is ERM. That imagination is ERM. That it affects everyone. That is enterprise risk management. Now, next is ERM may be defined as process affected by entities, yes, board of directors, management and other personnel applied in strategy setting across the enterprise designed to identify the potential events that may affect the entity and manage this to keep it within the risk appetite. So what is the core? See, please understand ERM. Okay, let me ask a question. It's already in the definition. I'll ask the question and answer for you. ERM is basically a top management concept, top management idea. So who, suppose the question comes that who in an entity is going to define the enterprise risk management policy, framework, concept, top management board of directors. So how an entity defines CRM is top management prerogative, their field of operations. The way they decide, the way it goes down. But the question that I have put, the example I have given, whatever ERM you create, there is one very important aspect. It has to be communicated very well. We'll see how we can learn this idea. Okay. So what is ERM? Holistically viewing an entity, looking to all aspects within an entity, and then planning according to that. What could be purpose objective? Purpose objective of ERM could be to ensure that my risk is at a minimum level. That is benefits. Yes. So we have already discussed these benefits. See, yes, this is very, very important. The first line, please carry this all your life, whatever you do. This is going to help you any day. No entity operates in a risk-free environment. I'll just say a line in Hindi and then convert the same into English. मुझे हमेशा लगता है कि एक्सीडेंट मेरा नहीं होगा, सामने वाले का. I always have a feeling that any loss, harm due to accident will be never be mine. It will be always the other person. This concept is wrong. How I must define? My definition has to be I, along with all, is subject to same level of risk. That example of sanitizer is perfect example. No one escapes risk. This idea has to be very clear. And then once you are clear on the idea, then the benefits come. So once you have defined the ERM, then you know that, okay, so we all agreed that this is my risk appetite. This is the maximum loss I can bear. Risk appetite is a degree of risk on broad-based level of an enterprise, and that enterprise is willing to accept. So you can align the risk appetite to your strategy. How much loss you can bear. Then you can link growth, risk, and returns. So entities accept risk as a part of value creation, preservation. They expect returns commensurate with the risk. ERM provides enhanced ability to identify risk and assess risk, establish acceptable level of risk in terms of growth and return objectives. Please understand, risk perception, risk definition is how you look at that. So those definitions are created. Enhance risk response decisions. Please understand. See, the point that we need to be very clear in mind. If I know that I can be subject to this risk, my job is done. Because once I know that I can be subject to this risk, I'll ensure controls are put in place. Minimize operational surprises and losses. This is one thing that always happens. If I have defined my risk well, then I ensure that there are no operational surprises or losses. Identify, manage cross-enterprise risk. Yes, enterprises work in myriad risk parameters, one linked to another. We have talked about business process automation. So risk to my vendor may affect me. We need to do it. Provide integrated response. Again, the word integrated has come. Seize opportunity. Management considers potential events rather than just risk. And by considering a full range of events, management gains an understanding of how certain events represent opportunities. Rationalize utilization application of capital. Great. Framework for risk management, which typically identifies. So framework is the broad parameters. It identifies the event circumstances relevant for an organization, its objectives, the risk, opportunities, assess them in terms of the likelihood, impact magnitude, the response strategy, and monitoring focus. So all parameters, all that we discussed previously has been brought in this one single paragraph. ERM has 8 interrelated components that are derived from the way management runs business. I'll just run through those components. Internal environment. So I'll just read the headers. Okay. Objective setting, event identification. I'll read the heading, then come to the definition, because that the framework has to come from the top and then we'll read the definition. Risk assessment, risk response, control activities, information, communication, and monitoring. So internal environment encompasses the tone of the organization, the basis how risk is viewed and addressed. Objective setting should be before management can identify events potentially. Yes, this is very important. See, this line is phenomenal. Please understand. Objective setting should be set before. The keyword is before management. See, before you do anything, you need to set what you need to achieve. Very important. In fact, someone of you said that tolerate and mitigate and CA. So before you, that is, see, when I started the lecture today, I have set you objective. What was the objective? Minimum 80% marks. Must do. That is our objective. Have I talked anything that is theory? No. I've talked everything that is practical. Do it, and this subject is king of all subjects. We have talked about costing, we have talked about auditing standards. Later on, we'll be talking about accounting standard. I've talked about Companies Act. Everything due to learn in any good subject there has to be implemented here. So we are at the king of all these subjects. I'm a good marketer of my subject, huh? Okay. So risk framework, the internal environment, objective setting, then event identification, where I can be hit by losses. Assessment of risk, we have talked about. Risk response also, we have talked about. Control activities, we have talked. I told you, the success of ERM is what? Communicating it very, very properly. And the word, when you say communication, you don't say alone, you say effective communication. That is why, just saying it with your permission, I keep a separate laptop only for this purpose, that whatever you paste there, I can just link, I can learn. Aditya, no, it's not me to share. I think these PPTs are already there. I don't know how you download these PPTs, but these PPTs are already made available to you. So please confirm with the BOS. They are there. They are to be shared with you. I have already sent to the institute. BOS generally shares. So they are going to share it. Thank you. Okay. So proper communication. And then last part is monitoring. Great. Then controls, I'll just, before we go to controls, there's a homework that I want to give to you. So I'll bring the homework first and then we'll go to controls. Okay, just give me a second. I'll just, okay, so I need to put my laptop is running on battery. So I need to put the power source. I'm taking a minute's break. So I'll just put my video off and I'll be let me put the power pin and then we'll start in a minute's break. Okay. So Rajesh is doing article. PPTs are like this. So My name resemblance to our past. I know him very personally also. So we know each other that we have same name. There's some events that happened due to this, but they cannot be shared here. But we also had fun of it. Now, so let us start. So let me bring that homework for you. Yeah. Now see, day after tomorrow, that is on 3rd, we'll have the second part of this chapter, and one of the key topics we'll be covering is flowchart. So what I generally do, because the time to take flowchart in sometimes in online session is tough. And the time is also not there, so we cannot do a very intensive study of flowchart like that. But I'm giving you these 3 questions. So I'll request you to please note these 3 questions. I'm taking a minute on the slide. And then what you are supposed to do. What you do, you prepare your flowcharts of these 3 questions. Please note these 3 questions. This is basically homework for you. You have to prepare these flowcharts, keep it ready when we have our class day after tomorrow on 3rd. And when the topic of flowchart will come, I'll solve these questions with you. I'll show you the way these flowcharts need to look. So what you can do, you can compare with the standard solution and the one you have prepared. Please understand that flowchart by itself is, to me, it's pure mathematics. Mathematics is 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 into 2 is 4. 2 to the power 2 is also 4. So the point is that the result is same. The mathematical operation is different. To me, flowchart is like that there could be a different flow for a person based on his or her understanding of the processes. The net result has to be same. The output has to be same. That is flowchart. But then when we make flowchart, we need to make quality flowchart. Quality flowchart means because see, flowcharts will be converted into program, and programs have to be effective and efficient. So if my flowchart has length that is not necessary, it is going to affect my program or the performance of my program. So what we basically seek is quality flowcharts. So please note these 3 questions. Those of you who have downloaded the PPT from Institute site, the last slide of today's PPT is this question. So even if you forget, you can always look at the PPT. Answer, prepare your flowcharts, keep them ready. Okay, Jyoti, thank you. And once you have done, so day after tomorrow when we discuss, you mark your performance to whatever we discuss. So I'll get back to the slide we were. And then here we controls. This I have given. You all know controls, so no introduction needed from me. So we'll not try to complete. We try to learn. Okay, whatever we are not able to do today, we'll do after tomorrow. So I planned it that way. So introduction to controls. Controls is defined as policies, procedures, practices, organization structure that are designed to provide reasonable assurance that business objectives are achieved and undesired events are detected and corrected. These are controls. So I've written example from module. So let me go to module. Now, one more change in the module is that all the examples in chapter have been numerically numbered. Previously, they were not numbered. Now they are numbered examples. Okay. So one example is purchase to pay in the module. So it talks about the whole process. Given below is a simple example of controls for the purchase to pay cycle, which is broken down into four components. So purchases, goods received, invoice processing, and payment. So each of these process requires lot of controls to be put into them. That is one example in the module. You go through those. If you find something that has to come from me, I'll be surely helping you out. But the point is what? The point is that see, every process that you define, each process need to have specified control parameter built into it. That is the relevance of it. Now, this slide has multiple questions. You see three words. So I'll be asking at least two questions. Events are prevented, detected, and corrected. So why controls are needed? To mitigate risk. So one of the risks is fire. Now, when suppose fire is a risk, you answer, what are preventive control for fire? First question from this slide is, okay, Vijay Shankar has asked a question. You have to prepare flowchart, Vijay Shankar. Prepare the flowcharts, keep it ready with you when we have our class day after tomorrow, 3rd of April. I'll be showing you standard flowchart, how you can make good flowcharts. You compare those standard flowchart to your answer flowchart and try to learn. I'll be sharing generally what common mistakes happen while making flowchart. So because if you don't have time to do it one-to-one, so we'll have to do in some structured manner. That is. So what is expected out of you is prepare the flowchart and keep it ready. Okay, now. So the first question I have asked you is, if fire is a risk, what is preventive control for fire? So what you are going to answer? Preventive control for fire. Okay. You answer, then I'll come back on this. Second question. Our CA result, my CA result for myself is preventive, detective, or corrective. So CA result is what? Preventive, detective, or corrective? CA result, so two questions. Preventive control for fire, and what is CA result? Whether it is preventive, detective, or corrective. And then we'll enjoy the discussion. So you are answering two questions. Preventive control for fire, and my CA result is whether it is preventive, detective, or corrective. Okay, good. So I've got answers to first question. Yes, so Radha gets the chocolate for this question. See, fire extinguisher is not preventive for fire, it is corrective. What is preventive? That is going to prevent fire from occurrence. That is the concept we need to have for controls. So what Radha has written, fireproof cabinet is preventive. Fire extinguisher is not. Fire extinguisher is basically corrective. Then, so you are answering the second question. Chartered accountant result is preventive, detective, or corrective. Then once you answer, we'll have a good discussion. Lively discussion. God, so a lot of answers have come. Just everyone jump to give answers. Let us see. CA result is preventive. That is, may I read the name with your permission? Let me read. So Shobha says it is preventive. Jyoti says corrective. Aditya, okay, extinguishes. CA results. Ashutosh says this preventive and detective both. Shaurya says corrective for me. Shaurya. Vaishnavi corrective. T. Henry Reddy detective. Aditya says preventive. Manisha says detective. Manisha sent a long line. I'll read. Muskan says corrective. Amudha says detective. Vishal, no, I'm not reading this. Okay. So CA result for myself is corrective. For my elders, my parents is detective. And if my result motivates other, it is preventive. In fact, even CA results, you know, the there is a gap between pass percentage and fail percentage. Many fail, less pass. So in CA result, failing doesn't worry. You fail, many fail. The trouble is you don't. The anxiety is not because you have failed. The anxiety is because someone else has passed. So just saying it in Hindi, अरे वो पास हो गया, उसको पढ़ाया था मैंने. You know what happens if one of your friends, colleagues to whom you were teaching and while teaching you felt he doesn't have the brains to pass C and then he or she passes the exam and you fail. That is the most anxious part in CA result. So failing your own self doesn't worry. But your friend passes, then it is trouble. Okay. So that is preventive, detective, and corrective. And there could be thousands and thousands of examples. So I'm not reading those examples. This again from the module itself. Manual controls. So manually verify the goods ordered in PO. Miss the diagram. Those who are looking at, so the references are from this diagram in the module. So A, B are those. So you can directly refer that. So she's saying, sir, CA exam results pass has increased exponentially. Good. So manually verifying controls that you verify goods ordered in PO are received, they are good quality, vendor invoice is there, and reflects the quantity price as per the purchase order. So that those becomes manual controls in the process. So the automated controls are the above verification is done automatically by computer system by comparing the uh, purchase order values. In the module it says T is input purchase order, E is input receipt verification, and F is input invoice details. So that is DEF. So you electronically compare that. Then semi-automated controls could be verification of good receipt, purchase order. So good receipt note is there, you compare the same with purchase order. It could be automated, but the vendor invoice matching has to be done manually. So that is how you can have controls which are fully manual, fully automated, and semi-automated. Again, a good question. IoT, of Things, Internet of Things. The room I'm sitting in, I have got a bulb that is IoT enabled. So I can operate that bulb on my mobile. So when we have the next class and if time permits, I'll show you how. I think we all know, but still just a technology demo. Okay, so question 7 you are answering. I'll just go ahead. Okay. We'll go ahead and see what is the next topic. Question 7. So manual control is A, semi-automated B, C is automated, and D is all of the above. Let me see the answers are there. So, okay, what we'll do, we are on time and this is a new topic we are starting. So we have 2-3 minutes left. So let us you post your queries on today's session so that then we'll have a recap for today's session. So you post your queries. I'll just have a fast recap. I'll go to the opening slide and see what we have read. By the time you can post your queries. Okay. So I'm just, because we are starting a new topic, we'll do it on day after tomorrow. We are scheduled, so there is nothing that we are missing. Let me go to the opening slide. By the time you post your queries. So today we talked about the concept of business process automation. The key element to business, automated controls. So Ayushi is correct, C, Mansa is correct, Radha is correct, Monisha, it's C, automated controls. Now, so what we have talked about today, you can post queries from today's session. There is one question that is still unanswered. I know that question. And during the course of the discussion, I'll be answering. I think Adit's question is unanswered. The concept of integration to BPA, then enterprise business processes, automation, the risk terminologies, the concept of enterprise risk management, the key definition of controls we'll be discussing more. Then I shared few questions for you to do on flowchart, then risk controls for specific business process. It's a very detailed discussion that we'll be doing on third. Regulatory and compliance requirements. I'm refreshing your questions so that if I can see if there are queries that you have posted. Yeah, Ashutosh. So Ashutosh so now we can take some exam related issues also. So Ashutosh has put a good question that how to go about MCQ based. Now see, you have a valid question. I'll tell you how you can do it. See, the point that I wanted to make, those evidences, SA 500, now I'll answer that question. And I'll tell you that someone had asked that can a chartered accountant be a business process consultant? And now we are merging all this and trying to answer that question. No, Vishal, okay. I have not answered your question. You can please post your query, Vishal, again. I missed that. Please post it again. Now see, so I'm asking you, and we went some, at least an example that is 15 years back. So we were sitting in one of our CA's office, the CA friend office, and in the building that friend had his office, there was a fruit seller. So we all 6 friends ordered mixed fruit. Mixed fruit was ordered to the vendor. Then that person came, brought that tray with proper glass and covered glasses. And looking at the glasses, I just commented as a chartered accountant, observation. The word that I wanted you to catch was observation. SA 500 audit technique, observation is the key. That is going to make day for you. That is going to answer many questions. So just looking at those 6 glasses, I said a word. I said that, see, I know that the 6 glasses are there. I know which was filled first and which was filled last. Looking at those 6 glasses, they had those mixed fruit juice in it, freshly made, and the vendor must have prepared in a jug and then filled those glasses. So I could, and then we all 6 agreed that my comment was correct. So observation, I just giving you a hint that see how you are going to make good. So of course, this is a question for you to answer, that how looking at those 6 fruit juice glasses, you could say which is the first and the last filled by the vendor. You will answer that here. The point that I wanted to make was observing. You see things observing. That answers your query regarding MCQ based. If you see things observing, you will automatically know what is the process how it is going. All MCQs are case studies, and case studies are live cases. That is. Okay. Then someone wants MCQ 7 answer. Sorry. Okay. Now, IoT is Internet of Things. I don't know. Okay. You know, this on TV, a lot of this. Okay, why? Good guess, Nandishwaran. Good guess. Okay, but not the right answer. Guess is good. The answer is not right. Now, IoT is Internet of Things. I thought you will be knowing the technology. See, Internet of Things is like the bulb in the room. I'm here, so it is Wi-Fi enabled, and through my mobile, I can switch on, switch off, change the color of the light, everything. Those are IoT enabled devices. So now, what is happening? Our famous cricketer, he comes on TV in an advertisement, advertising this home filter and saying in that if the home filter device resins go low in quantity, they are IoT enabled, so it is automatically going to send the intimation to the service center. So it becomes fully automated then. That is. Okay, so let me answer. You tried well. You know, if you prepared, I don't know. See, working in kitchen does help a lot. So if you actually made your own self mixed fruit juice, so when you fill it with a jug, see what happens? The glass which has the foam layer least is the one that is filled first. The glass is the juice and the layer of foam. So the one with the least layer of foam is the first filled because the last glass in the jug, the foam is left. So the glass with the highest layer of foam has the last filled. So that is the answer. Yes, it is going to give. So Ashutosh, yes, the training will give. So that is for today. We are 5 minutes beyond time. Thanks. And I think, yes, we have made 400. So our century is 400. Thanks for being participative, and we'll meet day after tomorrow. Keep the flowcharts ready. I'll be discussing with you. Then, even if beyond that any queries there, please post to Institute. They forward to me, and then I'll try to answer that. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Yes, I do. Anything I have to do, Ram?